Television, your best station for news, politics, business, sports and entertainment. Your one-stop channel, Assets Television.
Hello and thanks for staying with us on Assets Television. Welcome to the news. I am Eugenia Solomon. First, the headlines. Crisis in PDP as faction express opposition to indefinite postponement of NEC meeting. President Tinubu assures IMF of communication to prioritize welfare of the poor. Reps throw out bill recommending 6-year term for president and governors. Another news in detail. The North Central Caucus of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) has expressed opposition to the indefinite postponement of its 99th National Executive Committee meeting, which was initially set for November 28. In a statement, the People's Democratic Party, through its National Secretary, Senator Samuel Anyao, explained that the 99th National Executive Committee meeting was postponed due to the funeral of Patience Umoeno, the late First Lady of Akwa Ibom State and wife of Governor Umoeno. Since taking over as acting national chairman after Senator Yochie Ayu's removal by the court, the Magum has faced mounting criticism from party leaders amid the ongoing crisis within the People's Democratic Party, with more voices calling for his resignation. Meanwhile, a NEC member from the North Central region and former National Publicity Secretary of the PDP, Kola Olobondion, emphasized that the key to resolving the issue within the PDP lay in adhering to the established succession plan outlined in Section 47, subsection 6 of the PDP Constitution 2017 as amended. Speaking to North Central youths in Abuja on Thursday, Olobondion argued that respecting the party's constitution was the only way to address the challenges facing the PDP and ultimately work towards fixing Nigeria. The Edo State chapter of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) and the All Progressives Congress (APC) are at loggerheads over allegations of party secretariat destruction. The State Publicity Secretary of the Edo PDP Caretaker Committee, Chris Nahikare, alleged that the APC thugs invaded the party secretariat, destroying and cutting away properties worth millions of naira. He said that thugs also destroyed doors, windows and other office equipment, adding that several electronics, computers and other vulnerable items were also carted away by the thugs, who ransacked the building with a plan to attack any person found therein. Nahikare condemned the attack, describing it as a desperate and reckless attempt by the APC to intimidate the PDP and frustrate the party's efforts at reclaiming its mandate stolen at the September 21st governorship election. Nahikare said the PDP remained resolute and would not be intimidated or deterred in its pursuit of justice and the restoration of its mandate. He charged party members and supporters to remain calm and resolute in the face of the provocations as the party explored every legal channel to reclaim its mandate. President Bola Tinubu has assured the International Monetary Fund (IMF) of his commitment to prioritize the welfare of the poor and most vulnerable Nigerians, even as his economic reforms bear fruit. Meanwhile, the IMF has expressed strong support for the various policy actions of the federal government to reform the economy, accelerate growth and generate jobs. President Tinubu, who acknowledged that his reforms programs had weakened Nigerians' purchasing power, however, said his administration will continue to provide social safety nets to cushion the unintended consequences. The president spoke Wednesday night in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, when the managing director of the International Monetary Fund, Kristalina Georgieva, paid him a courtesy visit on the sidelines of the G20 Leaders Summit. Congratulating the IMF chief on her election for a second term in office, President Tinubu appreciated her support in implementing the reforms calling for more institutional backing for stability and sustainable growth. A coalition of Lagos indigenous youths has distanced itself from recent media publications aimed at discrediting Sheyi Tinubu and painting him in bad light. Leader of the group, Tunde Aziz, in a statement made available to newsmen, described the publication as baseless as they are seeking to tarnish the reputation of the president's son. The coalition said the controversial post also circulating on social media is fake and should be disregarded by the public as it did not originate from its fold. The group also said that they will support Sheyi Tinubu if he wishes to become the governor of Lagos State, as he is eminently qualified to do so. The Arewa Consultative Forum, ACF, on Thursday suspended its chairman, Mamman Usman, following widespread reactions across the country after the northern body's criticism of President Bola Tinubu's policies, saying it had impoverished the north. The ACF, in a statement, added that the interests of the north would be best represented by northerners. However, Yoruba socio-political, Afenifere, Igbo socio-cultural body, Ohaneze Ndigbo, and other regional groups backed the president, insisting his predecessor Muhammadu Buhari laid the marker for the hardship in the country. In a communique issued at the conclusion of the forum's National Executive Council meeting in Kaduna on Wednesday, the ACF expressed dissatisfaction with the current economic policies, which, according to the forum, worsened conditions in northern Nigeria. The communique, signed by ACF's National Publicity Secretary, Professor Tukur Muhammad Baba, also called on the president to review and reassess his administration's economic policies, to ensure they are more compassionate, considering the current hardship Nigerians are enduring. Well, Assets Television News will continue shortly after the break. Stay with us.
Welcome to Assets Television, your best station for news, politics, business, sports and entertainment. Your one-stop channel, Assets Television.
Well, many thanks for staying with us. If you're just joining us, you are watching the news on Assets Television. The House of Representatives has rejected a bill seeking a 6-year single term for Nigeria's presidency. The constitutional alteration bill, sponsored by Ikenga Ugochinyere, PDP Imo, and 33 others, was rejected on Thursday during a debate on its general principles. However, Ugochinyere, representing Ideato Federal Constituency, said that he will represent the bill at some other time.
Struggle to have to reform our constitutional democracy to make it all-inclusive and provide avenue for justice, equity, and fairness has not been lost. The decision on the floor of the House today not to allow the bill for 6-year single term for power to rotate between North and South, and all elections to be hold in one day, not to scale third reading, does not mark and does not put an end to the agitation and hope that will realize this objective. This is a temporary setback which does not affect the campaign for all-inclusive democratic process. We're going to review these decisions and then look at other options of continuing this advocacy and find possible ways of reintroducing it after following due legislative procedures and timelines. But all I can tell Nigerians is that be rest assured that we'll continue the advocacy and the legislative efforts to ensure that we'll convince our colleagues to see the reasons why we should have a 6-year single-term presidency and for power to rotate between North and South, and for all elections to be held in one day. If elections is held in one day, it will reduce costs, it will bring more participation and vigilance, and also it will help to reduce rigging, because the accreditation used in announcing the status of assembly election will be the same for the presidency. It cannot change. And if power is to rotate between North and South, it will help to de-escalate political tension, bring sense of inclusivity and justice, equity, and fairness for everyone. every part of the country, and CCA single term will go a long way in helping elected leaders focus on delivering on their democratic mandate and agenda. And there'll be no room for all the expenses that were now, it's turning into a second kind of business for people to go for second term with so much waste and division and crisis. So what I'm saying in effect is that all hope is not lost for on the issue of having a CCA single term and power to rotate not answered. We'll continue it, and I can assure you that after following all the necessary legislative procedure, we will reintroduce the bill again, and we hope that our colleagues will join us to ensure that it passes this time around. Thank you. Trouble.
Some lawmakers in the House who introduced the bill in June also proposed rotating the presidency between the North and the South and creating a second vice president. Well, a cross-section of members of the Nigerian Society of Engineers (NSE) have vowed to resist any form of rigging of the ongoing NSE national elections. The members who spoke to newsmen pleaded not to mention their names to avoid being targeted by the cabal plotting to rig the election. The members called on the current president, Engineer Margaret Aina Oguntala, to stand upright and fair election, as failure to do so, that the outcome of the election would be messed up with legal battles. They urged her not to allow the repeat of the 2021 election controversies, which they said are still in court. Also, the engineers used the opportunity to call on the head of their electoral committee, Engineer Kashim A. Ali, who doubles as past president of NSE and past president of Koran, to ensure this time that he displays upright statesmanship in the delivery of his election or face a barrage of legal battles. Called that one engineer, Akintaye, who felt disenfranchised in the election of 2021, went to court to challenge the outcome of that 2021 election and has been joined in the suit by two past presidents of the society as interested parties, with him as plaintiffs. They also recalled that past President Babagana Muhammad, during a press conference, told the whole world that the election, the FRSC Corps Marshal Mohammed Shehu said the decision to arm FRSC personnel requires careful consideration of Nigeria's unique context, international best practices, and potential consequences. In response to public concerns, the FRSC Corps Marshal clarified the intent behind the amendment of the FRSC Act, which is before the National Assembly. According to him, the request to bear arms is not for all road safety personnel, but that the proposed armed squad would be strictly for protection of FRSC property and personnel, not for use in routine traffic enforcement. He said one major reason, which is critical why the armed squad is required, is the risk faced during night rescue. Well, on the foreign scene, Russian President Vladimir Putin is trying to scare Western allies with escalations. Former U.S. Ambassador to NATO, Ivo Dalda, tells the BBC's Newsday program. He says now Putin is trying to scare Ukrainians, Europeans, and Americans by emphasizing the conflict is not just fought in Ukraine, but has the potential of spreading well beyond Ukraine. Daldas deplores the fact that the U.S. decision to allow Ukraine to use longer-range missile into Russia came so late. He added that U.S. President-elect Donald Trump could also revoke that decision, along with a number of other actions that could make life for Ukrainians much more worse. Well, in the world of sports, Super Eagles and Al Ittihad defender Chikelwe Iloenyosi has questioned the character and passion of Nigeria's senior men's national football team, insisting that hiring Portuguese coach will not save the team. Iloenyosi made the statement in an interview recently, citing the Eagles' recent disappointing performance during the last phase of the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier, while the three-time African champions had already sealed qualification to the AFCON 2025 tournament in Morocco and were not under pressure to perform. They remained under obligation to win their matches and finish the qualifiers strong. However, Austin Eguavon's men put up an underwhelming performance and failed to win either of their two matches and only managed to pick a point from a possible 6. Nigeria played a 1-1 draw with the Benin Republic at Stade Felix in Abidjan last Thursday before a shock 2-1 defeat to Rwanda at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium in Uyo on Monday, ending their perfect home record in the qualifier. Well, with that sports story, we have come to the end of the news. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms for more updates and programs. On behalf of the entire news crew, I am Eugenia Solomon. Thank you for watching.
Welcome to Asset Television, your best station for news, politics, business, sports and entertainment. Your one-stop channel, Asset Television.